Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I just wanted to throw a little quick video for you guys how I contour my nose, because in one of my last videos I said that I would do like a separate video on how I contour my nose because it is a little bit complicated, I feel. Only because I think I have a very hard nose to contour, because I've contoured other people's noses and it's so much easier, but mine for some reason is just so hard. So if you have a wide nose like I do, then I'm going to show you how I contour it and how you can fix it and make it a little bit straighter if it's kind of a little crooked like mine. The way I did it right now, it's like an everyday type of contour. It's not super obvious because I've gone a little bit overboard, and there's been times where my nose actually appears a little bit slimmer, but that's because I go really heavy and a little bit darker with the contour. So but that is just like errors and through trial and error I just kind of found out what works best for me, and I think that like what I'm doing right now works the best, even though my nose is not perfect and there's only so much you could do to it. And I feel like I'm actually doing so much to contour my nose because of the way it's shaped, and it might seem like a lot of steps and a lot of makeup for some people, but desperate times call for desperate measures, and with my type of nose it needs to be contoured. It really does. So I hope that you guys enjoy this video. So if you want to find out how to contour your nose, especially if you have more of like a wide nose like I do, then please keep watching. So when I contour my nose, I like to start off with some concealer. So I've already done my concealer, and I've also set my concealer, and I also already contoured like my cheeks and stuff. So now the last thing I do is always my nose. The last thing I do is always my nose because I don't know why. So this is my real nose. It's all big and wide. So of course I want to make it like very thin and kind of like pixie nose. Now see, my type of nose, I feel like it's very difficult to contour because I have a really wide nose. My nose doesn't come down like in a slopey way. It kind of like comes out this way. So yeah, it's very wide, so I need to contour it. And the best way that I found to contour a wide nose is by taking a few extra steps. So I'm going to show you exactly what I do every single time to contour my nose. I normally do it like this. It might be a lot for some people, but it is what I have to do to contour my wide, big nose. And since I cannot afford a nose job right now, then this is what I have to do. So the first thing I like to do is take a face powder. This is my Makeup Forever Dual Matte. It's very important that the powder is matte. And I know that it's kind of obvious, but honestly, some people just have no clue. Like, you would be surprised. So this is in the shade 205. This is actually what I use to set my liquid foundation, or just to dust on my face when I feel that it's a little bit oily. So it is my natural it's close to my natural skin tone, but since I am going to be using this to contour my nose, this is one of the things that I'm going to use to contour my nose, and since it is close to my natural skin tone, which is like, you know, these areas right here, and this area that is kind of like under my eyes and my nose, I usually tend to highlight because, you know, we want to brighten this area. So it's going to be a little bit slightly darker than my skin tone in these areas. So that is why I like to use this, because it's going to help really blend out my contour. So I'm just going to take a fluffy brush. This kind of has like an edge to it. You want something that you can precisely apply powder with, but also fluffy enough to be able to blend it out. So I'm just going to begin just by shading the sides of my nose. And when you're applying this, you want to drag the powder downwards. So when you're applying it, apply it where you want it, but drag it down. Just like this. And I'm dragging it down because with my shaped nose, it doesn't make sense to make a straight line like most people do. It's just a straight line and then just kind of blend that line out. It doesn't work for me because of my wide nose, and it doesn't slope under, it kind of slopes up. So to create that illusion that it's sloping down, you want to gradually fade your contour from, you know, obviously the darkest to very, very light. So that's going to help. At this point, you barely can tell what the difference is, so I'll insert like a little clip right next to this one so you can just compare both noses. It is getting a little bit slimmer. The difference is not dramatic, but it does make a big difference, especially for this next step. The color that I like to use to contour my nose is this one right here. It's called Fawn. I just like to use this one because it has more of like a cool undertone. When I'm not using this one, then I tend to use my Hoola bronzer. I'm just gonna stay with the same brush and just pick up a very, very small amount just on the very, very tip of the brush. Now with this, you don't want to make such big downward motions. They're going to be a little bit smaller, but you're also going to focus this color more on the closer to the bridge. And I like to contour my nose from the very, very tip where the beginning of my brow is all the way to the little tip of my nose. Okay, so there's one side of my nose done. I'm gonna go ahead and do the other side. And also add a little bit of shadow to the tip. So the last step is to highlight the nose, whether you're going to use a shimmering highlight or just like a concealer or something matte. But for now, I'm going to take a concealer. This is NC30 from MAC. And I'm just taking a small pencil brush, something with a very small tip. Because I feel like my nose is a little bit crooked, it's not, I don't feel like it's a little bit crooked, it is kind of crooked. So I have to make this line perfectly straight so it helps my nose appear more straight. And I'm just going to put my brush right in the very center. You want to be looking straight for this, so put it right in the very center and move your face upwards like this. And then just taking my finger, I'm going to just tap along the line to blend it out. I'm just going to take that same face powder. This is going to help set it and also kind of just blend it together. Alright guys, so I finished my makeup and this is what the finished result looks like. This is pretty much what I do on a regular basis. Even if I'm not wearing as much makeup as I am today, I still contour my nose because it's just too big to not contour. And since I can't afford a nose job currently, I'm stuck doing this until I save up. And a lot of people have their own different way of contouring their nose. This is just what works for me, and I feel like it's the best way to contour my type of nose.